I'm John Batchelor. My colleague and co-host Larry Kudlow of Kudlow Reports at CNBC is here with me. Larry, the market is off a little bit, and there's some numbers that are unhappy. However, you mentioned several weeks ago that the QE2, which is announced to end at the end of June, this is the Federal Reserve printing money, a way to think about it metaphorically, Ben Bernanke manufacturing money, it ends June 30th. And you presented the case that by ending QE2, it was implicitly a tightening, and that's a good thing for the dollar and the economy. Is that still in place?
Yeah, it's exactly in place, and you can see it with these commodity prices, such as oil and gold and silver, correcting lower. That's what should happen. The dollar has stopped falling because the Fed's going to create fewer dollars. Actually, they're going to create no new dollars at the end of June. And the stock market is going through a rotation where the commodity stocks and the energy stocks, they're selling off, and more defensive plays like healthcare, utilities, consumer staples like Procter & Gamble, they're rising. So the market is correctly discounting the end to ultra-easy money. The Fed will still be loose, but not near as loose, and the balance sheet of the Fed will stop rising. So the market's discounting this, and there'll be a little correction here.
The market is correctly discounting as it makes a transition into an environment where we can grow with a stronger dollar.
That's correct, and I think this is very healthy, and we'll probably have a very good ending this summer, pending the outcome of the debt ceiling and so forth. But I think it could wind up being a big plus.
A mention for Mrs. Pelosi, the minority leader of the House of Representatives. You spoke with her yesterday, and you are impressed by the new Pelosi. How so?
Well, look, she had a very centrist, deficit-cutting, budget-cutting, entitlement-cutting message. Now, we didn't flesh out the details, and I know her politics just like everybody else. But I think the Democrats are getting wise to the fact that the country wants to see spending restraint and deficit restraint and debt restraint. So her message to me yesterday was a fairly conservative budget message, the first time I've heard that from her. And my suspicion is her man in the Joe Biden talks on the debt ceiling is Chris Van Hollen, will probably reflect the views that everything is on the table. That's how she kept putting it. Everything is on the table. And I think that's good, by the way. I think that's very healthy.
And Mrs. Pelosi, does this tell you that she's positioning herself and her Congress or her Democratic caucus to retake the House with this message? Is this a campaign perception on her part?
Well, I'm sure that it is. Everything's a campaign. But, you know, I think that the House Democratic majority has been viewed correctly as very liberal, tax and spend and regulate.
Yeah, the stimulus bill.
So I think they want to become much less liberal, and I think they want to try to get themselves back in the game politically. And there'll be some, I mean, she's not the same as John Boehner. She's not Eric Cantor. She's not Paul Ryan. But my point is she's singing a different tune, and I was quite impressed with that. And it suggests to me that there is hope for a reasonably good spending cap and spending cuts for this debt ceiling increase debate. I think that's possible. I don't think she's going to lead it. The Democrats are not going to lead it. It's going to be between the House Republicans and the White House. But I think the Pelosi Democrats want to be players in this, and so they're changing their tune.
Did you and Mrs. Pelosi harmonize with Drill Baby Drill?
Yes, she's become a driller, and she reminded me when I interviewed her a few years back that she was in favor of nuclear energy. And I said, yes, I was surprised. And she said, now you're surprised about my drilling. And I said, yes, I am surprised. But on that, too, gasoline prices matter. So I think she's lining up behind President Obama, who is at least opening the door to more drilling.
But we can't expect Deepwater Horizon to pull into San Francisco Bay, can we?
I don't think so. I don't think so. But look, all these incremental changes are moving in the right direction. And I think that's a very good thing.
Finally, Mitch Daniels, the governor of Indiana, he is making his decision soon, by May 31st. Is he educable, Larry, the way Mr. Pawlenty is?
Yeah, Mitch Daniels could put together a very well-rounded growth and limited government message. He has the intellectual capacity to do that. He did work for Reagan. He was political director for a while in the Reagan White House. I know he was Bush's budget director, but I think Daniels has tremendous potential to be a first-rate candidate, and I'm really hoping that he runs.
And growth. We need to hear that from him.
Well, I think he could do it. I think Tim Pawlenty could do it. He just hasn't done it yet. I don't know what he's waiting for, but he hasn't done it. Mitch Daniels so far has not been. He's been more of a debt obsessor, but he could do it. And that's what's going to electrify this Republican race. The first guy to come in with a really strong growth message is going to get tremendous, tremendous support.
Coming out of a recession since the Second World War, growth is 5, 6, 7, even 8%. Right now, it's under 3 and plunging. The difference is the Republican Party and growth. Larry Kudlow, Kudlow Reports at CNBC, and Kudlow Radio on the weekend. Thank you, Larry. I'm John Batchelor.